Good morning, hello, and happy Thursday. I'm happy that we're about to get started with the recording section of Axum. It's gonna be good. Hello, Isitsu. Good morning. How are you doing today? So I didn't have a chance to merge this all in, so that's going to be the first thing for us to do today is merge this into the main branch and sort of get us going there. And then I don't think I need uh, this like sort of next. I'm gonna have the plan. Now this README is inside the Learning Axum section, which I think is fine. Might also want to change. Oh, okay. So next thing I want to do is remove backend tests. Let's remove database. And let's add in just the full thing. So that be you. All right, so here's where the entire repo and where everything sort of lives. Better than yesterday, you woke up Tuesday morning with a sore throat. Oh no. Watching the stream, you started getting chills. Yesterday, you were out of action. Oh man, but you're better than that. Being sick sucks, and especially now, like we're more remote than ever, so it feels like we should be getting sick less often. Which it kind of does feel that I get sick less often, but then when it happens, it sucks like double the amount. But yeah, I was sick not too long ago, and it just doesn't. It's a terrible feeling. I'm sorry about that. I hope you feel better soon. Okay, so I have this under backend Rust. Okay, backend Rust learning. We have learning Axum. I'm thinking I want to change this to be maybe like solution for the project solution. Maybe okay, backend Rust. I want a new folder which we're gonna have Axum. This can be like a project solution. You go in there. One of the very few people you have been in contact with recently had one tested positive for COVID. Oh no. I hope I hope it's not COVID, and if it is, I hope that you're able to get through it fairly without any negative without too much negativity. Sounds like you're already feeling sick, so that might already hit you. I've had lots of different like coworkers, other people that have gotten COVID. I've managed to avoid it so far, mostly just by being antisocial and just like hiding in the house. But I think it's yeah, it's rough. Okay, so then we have all of this stuff. This is fine, and you should all still work. So now we have this .env here. I want to move this and create like a .env sample or something. And to remind myself, I want to go take a look at what that env is. Okay, so it has a jot secret, which is keyboard cat, the port, the database URL, and our hash cost. So it's this is like safe for me to display here. What I probably want to do is duplicate this. Let's copy .env to .env sample. example, maybe. That then let's change this to like actually board cat. Correctly spell keyboard cat, right? Localhost Postgres. Okay, so this should be good for sort of like an example of what this will look like and what you need. So you can then copy this into there. That'll be good. I don't remember if that I'm allowed to put comments in the .env. I think that I can, but just in case, we're gonna do this in the README. Okay, so to run this project, first set up the .env file, copy the .env example to .env, and make sure that the passwords, usernames are correct inside. Okay. Now this, I almost want to take this README and we're going to put this into Axum. Because we're going to have sort of lessons that go inside of here. So let's create a new folder for lessons. And that's where things like spinning up a hello world server, like anything that requires code is now going to go inside of here while I work on it. And that way you can just sort of follow along. Let's see, what else? Oh, I probably want to take you, put you in a README here. Okay, so since we have our legend, we have this, okay. I probably want locations for each of these. It's like installing Rust. Installing Rust usually isn't a something that I do. We'll probably have an introduction. Uh, introduction. So in introduction, I usually do maybe like a hype trailer. The hype trailer is going to be like, hey, I'm now starting to do recordings. I'm over on Twitch. Do you want to join us? You know, that kind of stuff. Um, then we'll have like the real trailer. Like once it comes out, we'll record a trailer for the entire course. We'll have an introduction to the course. We'll have prerequisites. Like what prerequisites do you need to take this course? So I guess if I sort of follow the exact same pattern here, even though it's not really a standard type thing, this is going to be sort of marketing. So the trailers go into there. Um, then we have introduction again. You go in there. So introduction, prerequisites. Maybe I'll do the prerequisites first. We do introduction, and then we're just sort of in it. Um, Perhaps also in here would be good is why Axum. And I'll probably start with that at the very end. We'll need, okay, we have project. So create a server that passes all the tests, introduce the project follow along. I don't know if I'm going to do the project follow along because like that's been sort of like the weakest part of the previous courses that I've done. It might make more sense to just here's the first video in a series where I live coded this and did it, and then just allow people to follow along there if they want to, but it's like a separate thing. But then there's the code where you can see it. So introduce a project. um wouldn't be speeding up the project. uh I guess we introduce the project, we have running, like setting up backend, like setting up the database. And then we have running the tests, something like that. Okay. So I think I'm more happy with you now. So I believe I want to now merge this into the main branch. So let's start with git. Okay, everything looks good there, I believe. Okay, so what do? We are putting Axum stuff in the correct place. And then I want to switch to, okay, get switch to main, get merge in CORM. Conflict. Oh, in the package lock JSON. I mean, my my method of fixing this, integration tests, backend tests, package lock JSON, is just remove the file. The package lock, like that's not anything really important. I can like reinstall that, recreate it. Actually, I can recreate that now really easily. So let's go into integration test, backend test. I will do an npm install, and that creates that package lock again. Okay, what we merged in we merged in Axum plan plus solution. Okay, so we can go ahead and push this up now. All right, so don't really see a reason why I can't just sort of start up. I guess we want to do a hype trailer for this. And probably just sort of like showing this in the background of what the plan is going to be fine. Um, I expect that this is going to be very, very short video that we'll put up on YouTube. So let's go ahead and I want the recording. What is that? I think it's Control F11 that I have here. Okay, that'll be fine. Yeah, I don't think I need anything else. So let's go ahead and do this. Hello, and I'm really excited to announce that I am beginning to record videos for an Introduction to Axum course. This is going to be a companion course to the Introduction to You, where we created a front end for a to-do application. In this course, we're going to be replacing a back end that had been written in JSON, Node, JavaScript, and Express. And so this is going to be Rust and Axum to replace that backend. We have fully automated tests for the project part of it, and as you can see, we have a plan for all the lessons there. So if you want to watch while the lessons are being created, come on over and join us on Twitch. I record on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings at around 7 a.m. Mountain Time. We'd love to have you and see it out. Otherwise, we'll see you on YouTube when the videos go live. Thank you very much, and see you then. Bye. All right, so that will go out. That's not really like a huge deal one. So I've got that recorded. So that's our hype trailer. Trailer I'm gonna save into the very end. So when I have the actual everything like done, then the trailer goes up and says like, okay, now go watch. This is like everything that happened. This is all what we did. So then prerequisites. I think I might also save this for the very end, just in case we like run into anything. That being said, we can maybe um create like a list of prerequisites that we're aware of right now. So we need like you need basic Rust. So like um you need to have read at least through the first several chapters of the book. So introductory experience with Rust. Introductory experience with Rust. What else do you need? I'm not super sure off the top of my head. Probably that. We'll add to this as we sort of go there. I guess like programming experience. So minimum would probably be like less than 1 year full experience. Having created a backend in another language would be really helpful. So maybe like have created a to-do API in any language. Some basic HTML and JSON. Familiarity with JSON. Yeah, that's good. Also, good morning, Kafka. Let's see. Familiarity with JSON. I don't know if you need to know HTML at all for this because this is going to be the Axum course. So definitely with you, that was the thing. Introduction to the course. I think also we're going to wait until the very like end to record this. Why Axum? We might be able to do this now. Let's come up with like our list. Why Axum indeed? Like what are the alternatives? The alternatives right now in Rust. Yeah, fair. This one's going to be backend only. Sort of, I kind of split them into two, right? So we have the front end course, which was the introduction to you, and then we have the backend course. In some ways, the backend course is going to be a lot simpler than the front end course. There's just so many other parts, like so many pieces that you need to worry about, including the browser. Whereas here, who cares? Like it's just a server somewhere that you're running. Why Rust? Why Axum? What are reasons for this? We really want like Rust. There's a couple different reasons for Rust, right? It's like we have a strong type system. Like arguably could be this one of the strongest type systems. Uh, it's fun to program in, um, but not only is it fun, it it's like I think that once you're familiar with Rust, it's fast to iterate on and fast to sort of like make correct and make and like continue adding more features. So fast development time once you're like onboarded into Rust, once you're familiar with the framework um, language. Fun probably is at the very end. Um, I think also sort of to go along with the fast development time is maybe this goes up here is the tooling. Like Rust Analyzer, I wish that I have Rust Analyzer for everything that I do now. My cat is screaming up a storm upstairs. I need to go check to make sure that he's okay. So I will be right back. Here I'll turn on some music for while I'm waiting. Oh, that was strange. Okay, so went upstairs. Zilby was hiding behind a cardboard box that we had gotten, and was sort of like peeking out of it to look out the window. So I had this morning before I streamed, I opened up the windows downstairs, and um, we have screens on them, so nothing should be able to get in, and he can't get out. But I think he must have seen something. There's a black cat that wanders around here sometimes. Zilby really wants to go out and visit, but can't. And there's also some squirrels that have been tormenting him. I don't know which one it was. They were not there when I got there. Okay, so to continue. Nice ecosystem, tooling, compiler messages. Oh yeah, compiler messages. So compiler messages. I guess like this would be just tooling, right? So tooling, which would be compiler messages and Rust Analyzer. Yeah, what I was saying before is I wish that I have that Rust analyzer that injects the types directly into VS Code while I'm coding because I just I just want to see what types I have. I've just gotten used to it, and then going back to like even TypeScript, not seeing the types unless I hover over it is is like I'm like mm, just tell me what it is at all times. Just let me know. Fast development time, fun. Um, Now notice that I'm not saying like anything about speed of development here. Um, and that's oh sorry, speed of compiling here because well, we all know that Rust compiling is certainly not going to win any speed awards, especially when compared to something like TypeScript. Like that's not fast on its own, but it's still faster than this. And ironically, there are now JavaScript compilers written in Rust that are the fastest in the world. Okay, so I think these are sort of a good one to go here. Um, we could record this one first. Why should we go with Rust as a strong type? Well, let's open up the project. I wonder if I can do this without oh, I can open up the project in here, can I? So I want full stack Rust to do course. Bring you in there's no like normal code here, so it won't really tell me much. How about yeah, like this. This would show me off. Where I have like these types that are injected in. I'll keep this here. So that'll be the strong type system. That's also a combination of the tooling. Oh, you know what else I can open up? The cargo toml. Package management. So tooling, compiler messages. Let's do this as sub compiler messages, uh, Rust analyzer, and package manager. Okay. We'll do this one first, I think. So why Rust? I think well, yeah, I'll have it as the name of the file. Oh, which reminds me, I need to. So I did the hype trailer. I want to rename that file right now before I start doing more. This is hype trailer. Okay. Sort of feel like I need a slide deck for this. I don't have one though. I need like fun gifs and other things to go with it, but I don't really have anything right now. I need to think about like what I would make that with it. It might just be like a blog post that I eventually write somewhere that I can just like go read this. Um, all right. Let's do this. No, that does start recording, but that also full screens that. I don't want that. Okay, I keep on forgetting I have to have OBS open in front when I do the keyboard command, otherwise bad things happen to my system. Okay, here we go. Um, why would we want to use Rust? Or why would we want to use something like Axum when we're building our backends? Basically, why this course? Well, I have a couple different reasons for why I really like to program with Rust itself, and I've done some projects in Actix Web. I played around with Rocket, and then of course I tried Axum out. And after using those other two ones, I really just fell in love with using Axum. So that's the simple reason for why I chose Axum for it. Now, why Rust? I really like Rust because, well, it has a lot of things going for it. First of all, it has one of the strongest type systems that I'm aware of in a programming language. And it really enforces that down there. You may hear of people grumbling and complaining about the borrow checker is, going to beat us down and make sure that we're not able to do anything bad, and it's kind of mean to us. But the way I think about it is that the Rust compiler is almost like a pair programmer who is more senior and won't allow us to get away with anything. Only correct code that will actually compile and actually, like, not hopefully crash on the back end, at least. If it's a runtime error, that's a different thing altogether. That's where it won't let us do that. It's sort of like a pair programmer. So to that end, the compiler messages are some of the best that we can possibly get. Now on top of that, we have a package manager. So we can see here in our cargo.toml file, we have a package manager that tells us very easily all of the version numbers of the packages that we're pulling in. This is the project, the solution project that we're using. What that means, if you're coming from something like JavaScript where you have node and package.json, this is probably just something that you're used to. But there's other languages out there that don't have packages managers that are quite as nice as this. Also, we have Rust Analyzer. Rust Analyzer at first looks like just something like a linter that just helps you out, make sure that you're running things correctly and just lints things for you, and then maybe also runs Rust format for you to like change and make sure that your code looks nice. But Rust Analyzer does something a little bit different too. You notice here I have this like let app, and then it adds this colon router in here. This is not actually real text in the source file. This is being injected by Rust Analyzer to let me know the type of app without having to hover over app to then see what type it is. It's something that is like fairly wordy when we start, but after a while, I actually rely upon this. I need it to like sort of see, oh right, that's that type. When I start creating the create router, I can now see these types coming in. Okay, I know what's happening. Just having that always there is super helpful. And then there's fast development time. So once you have all of those things, and once you're sort of used to programming in Rust, I find that adding new features is really fast. And of course, debugging and changing like any logical errors that we have, that's really fast too, because we can use all of those other tools that I mentioned to get going. And finally, perhaps the most important one is it's fun. I really like coming, especially from web development, into Rust because it's so vastly different, and it's almost like a puzzle. Like we need to work with that compiler to make it pass, but it's almost like a game, and getting in. And I really believe that Rust can help be an anti-burnout language if you're using it for fun projects. So that's my argument for why Rust, why Axum. And for many of those, that's also a really good reason to use it in production too. Axum is also created by the same team that's made Tokyo, if you're familiar with Tokyo, that itself should also be an argument for why to use Axum itself. And if you're not, that's fine. Tokyo is an uh, basically an asynchronous library that helps us out with async await and other, sort of concurrency level stuff. But you could almost think of it like what jQuery was for JavaScript. It basically is something that allows us to do a lot of things that otherwise would be very difficult and have to pull in a lot of libraries to help us out. We just need one, Tokyo. Anyways, I just wanted this to be a quick and simple why rest, why Axum video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I realized also that I forgot to remove the chat bar up top, so I'll need to do that next. All right, so let's save you. Okay, I'll rename you to Y Rest, and let's have this course record. Oh, that's not what I want. I think what I just want to do is I'll hide chat. Oh, that brings this chat where I can see here. Put you back over here. Actually, I'll just close you. Make you full size and wait, why do I still? Oh, that's why. There we go. Okay, I think we're ready for these next things. Okay, so we're good with that. So we can begin with hello world. So we'll have installing Rust. I've installed Rust so many times now. And obviously it's still on my system. Let's go to Rust lang. Perhaps also I'll show the Googling for it too, because that actually can be a little bit tricky if you're not sure. If you just type Rust in, you get like the game, and you get like so many other things that are not Rust. Kevin, hello. Okay, so we have that. We're gonna go into install, and that brings us to Rust up. You install that, and then we can switch over to maybe I'll use this terminal. Rust up. Oh, I can show update here too. I actually haven't seen very many projects with like super good names. Like so many of them are terrible at searching for because like they clash with something else. Um, I guess like something like JavaScript makes sense because in order to use the word, well, they colluded with Sun, and Sun was like, you have to use Java in the name, and it's like, okay, pretending that it was actually related to Java. Okay, so I will do. I guess like there's no harm in me running this again. I don't think it just. Um, what happens if I try to run it again? Oh yeah, it just sort of works and does the thing. So proceed with installation, and there we go. Okay. So I'll let this. We'll do that again. Okay, so let's. Let's start at Google. All right, here we go. The first step to start working with Rust and Axum is to get Rust installed. So in case you don't have Rust on your computer and you need it installed, I want to show you how you go and find it and, well, get it installed. We're going to start with Google here because navigating to Rust can be a little bit tricky if you're not used to it. So to begin with, if you just type in Rust, you're probably going to end up with more of the game Rust than the actual programming language. So I like Rust Lang, and then almost guaranteed the first link is probably going to be Rust. And the URL that we're going to is rustlang.org. So we're going to head into here. We're going to go to Get Started, and we want to install not Rust directly, but a sort of like a tool for Rust, which is called Rust Up. Rust Up is a it's a package manager. So if you're used to using Node.js, for example, you might use something like Node Version Manager, NVS, or something else like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. I've already looked through this script myself just to make sure that I'm okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and copy this in and run it. I'm running it as myself. I'm not running this as root. And let's make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to proceed with the default installation. This puts it, it's going to take a little bit longer if you don't have Rust yourself. I've also run it previously, so I don't need to open up a new shell window. But I'm going to go ahead to it anyways. If we want to make sure that we have the latest version of Rust, which if you're just starting it for the first time, you're going to have that now. We can do a Rust Up update. And so I am running with Rust 1.64.0. So anyways, hopefully this is helpful in case you don't have Rust installed. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye. Stephen, hello. Let's go. Okay, so this is install Rust. I also do realize that, like, I say prerequisites, you have to go through the book at least, but then here's like installing Rust. That's like inconsistency there. So do I really want to like have that video in the like installing Rust? I think maybe I should change the prerequisites to just passing familiarity with Rust. Like, just read through that and play around with it on what I really need to do is create like an actual introduction to Rust course, which is something that's on my list. Once I have an LMS and I can actually do proper uh, and I can do proper what is it called? Check for understandings. I think that would be really good. Okay, using the course repo. Okay, so using the course repo. So we have this repository here. I think I might want to wait until the very end to do this one, because then I'll have all the lessons and I can just basically show them off. Like, because right now we have nothing in the lessons, so that doesn't really make any sense. So I'm going to skip this until later. Setting up VS Code. Luckily, there's now only one thing we really need to do. I would say that regardless of whether or not you've used Rust before, this one would be good, because I still see people complaining online that their what was it, RLS is not like not really that great. The Rust tooling isn't very good. It's like, no, use this. Okay, so we have using crates. And Rust Analyzer, I believe, are oh, and Thunder Client. Crates, let's update you. Let me just update these all so that nobody gets driven crazy by me like not having updated uh, extensions. And I think that's it. Rust Analyzer, Crates, and Thunder Client. Error Lens is nice to have. I don't think I have that one. Error Lens? Improve highlighting of errors, warnings, and other language diagnostics. Um, Interesting. Does this work really well with Rust? Let me try it. And then also better TOML. That's probably a good idea. Oh, I already have better TOML. So just to mention it, yeah. Okay, so let's actually go in to here. So we have set VS Code. Obviously there's just the installing VS Code, yeah. But then extensions are better TOML. We have Rust Analyzer. We have let me see what error lens looks like. So if I shouldn't you error? Oh, Rust Analyzer is still loading. Okay, never mind. Oh, wow. Okay, that is a better error. I like that. Now, why are you yelling at me? The try is not implemented for this. This was working just fine. Wasn't it? I thought it was working just fine. Okay, hold on. Let's go into here. Let's do a Docker compose up-d. Okay, so let's get you up, and then we'll do a cargo watch. Oh, I increased my version of Rust. Okay. Well, no. Okay, you compiled successfully. So if you compiled, why are you yelling at me? If I come back to our error lens and I disable you, I'm curious if error lens is somehow like causing that to happen, or if it's a new version of Rust Analyzer or something. Yeah, Rust Analyzer. Oh, okay, so Rust Analyzer is yelling at me. Okay, Rust Analyzer, restart server. Yeah, I just reload the window from turning off the extension too. Really, Rust Analyzer, you're gonna cause this problem right before recording. Ugh. Ah, okay. What do we need? The trait is not applied for, so it doesn't know what the type is. So bind, serve, and then await. Obviously, it works. Try is not implemented for sort of like unknown type. Try to reload window. I could do that. Can I do that? I can also, you know what I could do? I could just let me save you, quit, and restart you. Hi, Zippy, come here. Nope. Okay, well, it doesn't like that. Hi, come here. Kitty cat time. Oh, are you done? Are you done? Kitty cat time. Okay. Well, kitty cat time was very short today. He purred during that time too. Okay, so what are we doing? Why are you upset at us? I also updated the version of Rust. So I wonder if there actually is a problem. Okay, hold on. So if I open up if I do cargo run, let's actually test this, right? So let's do a. Oh, you should still be up. So let's do a cargo run. Let's go into here and we'll go into we have do solution rest. Okay, integration tests, the backend tests, npm test. Let's see if this works. Because if this is still working and I'm not getting any errors when I run it through the command line, but Rust Analyzer is having trouble with it, that just means to me that there's some macro or something, and Rust Analyzer is having a little bit of trouble. I did update Rust Analyzer too. Okay, so this is still working. So the problem is that we updated Rust Analyzer, and the current version of Rust Analyzer is having a trouble with this, which really sucks. So I wonder if I need to. Can I turn that off for this specific one? You just found an issue in the Rust Analyzer repo from a few days ago. Oh, so it's because I updated Rust Analyzer. I had it not updated. Oh, can I roll back? This one sucks. Okay, so this is not the trait try is not implemented for. So can I tell you? So what is that? This is allow not implemented. Um, I did restart Visual Studio Code. Yeah, I quit out of it and restarted it. Can I turn it off just for this file? I don't remember if that's even possible. I can do that for Clippy, but that's a compile time error. You can't allow those. So what I really want to do is say like, hey, Rust Analyzer, don't don't use this. Don't just be okay. Um, yeah. So I don't think that extensions allows me to roll back, does it? I could switch to pre-release version. Sure, let's try. Now I'm not getting these though. So it, yeah, okay. Rest Analyzer, restart the server. Why am I not getting this stuff injected in now? Did they change that? Is Rust Analyzer now not injecting those things in? Do you remember what the setting is for that? I don't necessarily remember where that is. Previously it did its own thing. I could swear that that was a toggleable option, but I'm looking through it super fast right now, and I'm not necessarily paying attention to every single one of these. I'm just sort of like trying to find it. Um, Whether to show inlay type hints for return types of closures. It's never now. Um, Whether to show inlay type hints for elided lifetimes in function signatures. I don't think I need those. So function hints, I think is what it's called. There are a lot of things that we can do here to sort of like do that. So search for inlay hits. Inlay hints. Enables the inlay hints in the editor. Okay. So that's on. Send Rust Analyzer for binding modes. Closure, lifetime, lifetime. Whether to show inlay type hints for variables. Checked. So I can turn it on and off. Oh, it's back. Okay. Was it back because I turned it on and off? Maybe. Or did it just take some time to come in? Okay. All right. Well, that's gonna be fun. So I have to mention that for this course, I'm using Rust Analyzer uh, pre-release version because of a bug, and that if you're watching this in the future, even by like a week, you might not need that. Okay. I'm surprised I've gotten this far with Rust Analyzer without needing that. Okay, so I can open up all these. So we have better toml, we have crates, REST Analyzer, Thunder Client. We can turn error lens back on again because that was not the problem. So now if we come back to here, and if I just do something like that, bam, error lens to the rescue. Okay, good. So then I want to close you. I'll keep you open to show off these again. Great, okay. Order of them. I don't know if it really matters. Rust Analyzer is probably the most important. Creates extension is like the second most. Oh, you know what else we need to do? Creates.toml. Oh no, cargo.toml. In the project solution, so 0.5.16, Axum has that new version. Bcrypt is fine. Chrono is fine. .env has updated to that. Just updating all the things to the latest version. Okay, let's see if that works. All right, so first of all, back to you. Let's rerun you and see whether or not you still, so recompile with all the latest everything and still work. And then that way we can show off, at least in that like sort of solution project, how we can update all the versions. Okay, so you compiled and still run, which gives me a lot of confidence that everything is still working correctly. And you're still working as expected. Excellent. Why do I have this OK mark on the toml? Are you talking about like these things? Yeah, so this comes from the crates extension, which is this one. The crates extension uh, lets me know whether or not things are up to date or not. As soon as okay, everything's still working. So let's say I go to Axum and I say like, hey, let's use a really old version like that. I hit save. Now it will yell at me going like, ooh, you're quite a bit behind. This is not good. Don't do that. And so I can just easily check to see what the versions are and then just click to update them. That's why I use it. It's super nice. Okay, so I think then we'll just go through the rest of these. Better toml, maybe also part of cargo toml. What does better toml really do? It's just syntax highlighting. Yeah. Okay. Have all of you. We have time for recording this. Let's do it. Here we go. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code as the editor of choice in this course. Now, you can use any editor that you want, and it will work just fine because it's just code in the end, and we're running it through. We're basically running it through the terminal. But if you are using VS Code or you want to use VS Code for this, there's some suggestions for extensions to make things a little bit nicer. So first off, for a extension that helps with package management is something called crates. This package manager allows us to visualize what the versions are of crates are that we have in our crates.toml and to know if we're out of date. So for example, we can take a look at Axum here. And when I hover over the version, I get to see all the different previous versions. And if I go down to like 010, it yells at me and says, "Hey, you're really out of date. You should really consider bringing this up to something more recent." So I'm really happy with crates. Now, alongside TOML sort of crate or extension is Better TOML. This gives us highlighting for the TOML file. All right, then moving on to sort of more Rust specific, we have Rust Analyzer itself. I cannot program Rust without Rust Analyzer anymore. Now, one of the reasons for that is because Rust Analyzer gives us little inlay hints like this app router here that lets us know what that is. Alongside that is something called Error Lens. Error Lens takes any errors that Rust Analyzer is telling us, and instead of hiding them away down here in the problem bar of VS Code, it inlays them inside of the code itself. So let's say I take away the semicolon, we immediately get this, hey, here's your problem, and then it even shows us where the problem is because the error tells us what line and what column there. So that's really nice as well. Let's go ahead and fix this up again. Then we have Thunder Client. Thunder Client is very similar to another tool you may have heard of called Postman. It allows us to send HTTP messages within VS Code. I have that set up here. So I can basically set it up. We can send a post message out to this URL and go ahead and send that. In this case, I'm getting a 401 because I'm not authenticated. I can't log out yet. But we're going to be using this to test our API, and this allows us to just not leave VS Code. Again, if you have your favorite HTTP sort of API tester like Postman, or you just want to use something like curl, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't really matter as long as you're able to send HTTP methods. And that's it. These are all the extensions that I generally use to make VS Code better for myself. Hopefully, these are helpful to you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Okay, so I want to VS Code extensions. Or maybe that's actually setting up VS Code. Setting up VS Code. Every time I release one of these, I get another like, hey, why aren't you using one of the jet what's that name? What's the name of the company again? I always like it's Jet something, right? Why aren't I using one of their editors? And it's JetBrains. Yes, that's it. And it's usually because I have to pay for it. I don't want to use that. And then I don't know. Like I like to do free stuff because I don't want people to feel that you have to pay to do this type of stuff. That's usually why. I sort of like started that when I was teaching like in a class. It's like, well, you could have this, but you have to pay $50. Fleet, right? That one just opened up in open beta, but it looks so similar to VS Code that I kind of wonder like, what's the purpose of like it? I don't know. It just reminds me of VS Code a lot. So I I think for me, I might like if I'm gonna go make a change for an editor, it's probably gonna go the other direction and go to like NeoVim because I've heard some really good things about NeoVim. It's been a long time since I've been in the Vim world, and I kind of want to check it out. In all fairness, everyone raves that the JetBrains plugin even makes Rust Analyzer look weak. Um, I mean, yeah, people do say that. Although I've noticed that the number of people saying that has gone down. And I wonder, is it because uh, it's just like people are too busy programming to complain online? Or is it that Rust Analyzer has gotten better? It's probably one of those two. Okay, so we are, where's my README? Setting up VS Code. You tried to use Fleet and C-Line with Rust, but it's not as good as VS Code. I mean, you were watching another stream the other day, and its support for macros was terrible. I mean, everything support for macros seems to be terrible. So, I mean, Rust Analyzer has been working on it, but it's so hard. It's such a hard problem. So, totally makes sense. I would also, because it's a beta, like they're beginning with it, right? So, I would imagine I would imagine that they're going to get really good because they're going to stick with it. Like they know how to make editors. The editors are, I assume, really good. It's just, any new project, they're going to start with MVP, get feedback, and sort of like iterate from there. So it'll probably get good over time, but like it's a brand new project versus one that's been out for many years. You use CLion because you work with C++. You don't like VS Code or C++. I mean, the end result is like what tools we use to build the projects doesn't matter at all. It's like, can we build the thing and provide the value for our end users? That's all that matters. And if you're used to and you like something like CLion, then that is the thing that's like the best for you to use, right? Because otherwise you're just slowing down yourself for no good reason. Ironically, I would probably teach C++ in a editor that doesn't know about C++ to begin with. So like VS Code, like I wouldn't do like the university method where we're like, hey, we're gonna open up and use Notepad or whatever to write our first like Hello World app. I'm not gonna go that far, but like using something that doesn't auto inject a whole bunch of code and have all this knowledge for like enterprise level like coding, I think can help out when teaching it. That way you don't confuse people with the editor versus the code itself. And VS Code is so easy to teach. Like when you start, you get nothing really. It's very basic. Um, Mentioning university gives you flashbacks of programming on paper. Yeah, that's that is a thing. Although I did force my students to program on whiteboards, but that was all in preparation for whiteboarding interviews. So it wasn't like the very first programs aren't on paper. It's usually like at the end of the course when you're like, okay, so by the way, all that like nice stuff that you get, programming interviews don't let you do that. Use a whiteboard. Okay, so I think tomorrow we're going to work on the Hello World and manually testing that server with Thunder Client. Um, I don't know if we really need this manually testing because I think like we're gonna create the hello world, but to use it, we need to hit it with Thunder Client. So I think at that point, I think that's gonna be literally part of the hello world. So all right, tomorrow, I think we're pretty much set up for creating these videos now. So I think we should be able to get groove a lot faster. And we will start with creating a Hello World server, and then I guess we just start getting into routing data and doing all the fun stuff. I have now how many of these videos? I have 4 videos now that I can put up. At least the hype trailer I'm gonna put up. The rest of them I need to create a graphic logo and design the sort of title screen for it, and maybe like an ending. Thanks for watching. Um, then I can start putting those up. So that might come up this weekend. And I'll probably just start putting those up. I got really good results last time when I put up like 1 video per day at midnight, and like you can sort of follow along. I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do the same thing. So, anyways, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Um, do I am I mentioned I'm going to be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time to continue with this. I'm not streaming on the weekends, so it'll be tomorrow, and then Monday is the next time after that. So I hope that you have a great rest of your Thursday, and happy programming, happy whatever you're working on, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. So for some more recording fun. So with that, have a good one, and see you next time. Bye.